Hey guys, welcome back to the Jake and Brittany Wademan podcast. Today's episode is really just a life update. Nothing too fancy, just catching you up on where we're at right now. We're talking about our homestead, going back home for Christmas, what this season of life looks like for our family, birthdays, sickness, and what we're dreaming about and working toward as we head into 2026.
If you've been following along for a while, this is just a little, here's where we're at right now. And if you're new here, this is a great place to jump in. Let's get into it.
Well, it's been about 3 months since we last recorded an episode, and on our way home, we got called out by my best friend for not putting out a new episode in a timely enough manner. Apparently, every 3 months is not often
not
enough.
Favorable.
That's not the schedule we had originally settled on. Fair warnings.
Clearly, we're not here to grow really fast because our consistency is not there.
Yeah. There's what we thought would happen, and then there's what actually happened, which is life. And it smacks you in the face real good. So the last time we recorded an episode was
October 14th, I think is when
October 14th. Yeah. So not even Halloween yet, which is one of the brief topics we can touch on about how we do it differently.
For the second year. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we really like it.
So I actually, if I'm being honest, I really like that we got to hang out with friends this year. That was great.
Yeah.
But I think what we did last year was a little more fun. Well, granted, our kids were a little bit younger, of course.
Yeah.
But I did like that. We did actually like a Easter egg hunt with the kids, which they really liked. Some of them had money. Granted, it is South Carolina, so Halloween is always about 70 to 80 degrees.
Yeah.
All the chocolate we hid was
melted
inside the eggs. One of them we lost because we weren't even living in our house yet. So our grass was knee high at best, or in most places.
Yeah.
So I think
we didn't even have a lawnmower.
Our neighbor mowed our lawn for us and chopped up one or two of the eggs.
Yeah.
So I remember finding
I feel like you
little
put some money in them
purple,
too.
Yeah.
And
I remember finding little purple egg pieces.
Yeah.
And I think we probably found that money by now because scouring the lawn.
But I've just felt the conviction over the past few years of the whole Halloween as I grow closer to the Lord. And I just, not that we have anything against those that go trick-or-treating or anything. Again, it's just that personal conviction where when you feel convicted, you do something about it. And so we chose the last 2 years to not participate in Halloween. But obviously, like Jake said, we have young kids. And so we still want to make it fun, especially when they're talking to their friends and all their friends are going out. So 2 years ago, we did the Easter egg hunt.
Some games too. A bunch
family
of games.
Yeah, it was like family game night, basically. And we still bought healthier junk food so they weren't missing out.
And they loved it.
And they got to stay up late. And then this year, we went to our friend's house and watched a movie. What movie did we watch? Harry Potter?
Yeah.
I think it was Harry Potter.
They were basically
they didn't even watch it. We were trying to find a family movie that everyone could kind of enjoy. But they ended up playing outside on the trampoline and running around. And Jake and I were just chit-chatting with our friends. But it was just good to get together and hang out.
Yeah, we just had dinner over there and then let the rest of the evening carry on, which was
Same
great.
thing, though. They got the junk food. So again, they weren't missing out. But I would love for next year for us to just put a announcement for anyone else or see if we can rent a part of the church or whatever and just get together with everyone that doesn't want to go out and just have that opportunity for those other families that don't want to go out, for all of us just to get together and have a family game night.
Yeah. And obviously knowing me about food and healthy food, to make it not always be it's like in Wisconsin, growing up in Wisconsin, every event is about alcohol. Whereas in America, every event is about just the junkiest of foods. It's where everyone brings
and in the South, I feel like it's cranked up just a tad.
Yeah. And then, after Halloween, we continued on with homeschooling, and that's been kind of up and down. I think you're a little more concerned.
Yeah, I would say concerned. But I also have heard from other first-time homeschool moms or just other moms that have been homeschooling for a long time that the first year is testing everything, testing curriculum, seeing what your kids like, what they don't like, what you like, what you're not really enjoying. It's all a test the first year. But I still question all the time. I'm are our kids learning enough? Are they, are we putting them behind a year? That's just those.
Yeah. I just think back to, I've always liked math. I've always been good at math. And I think back to really in elementary school, which all of our kids that's the highest grade that they're in is elementary. Next year, Cam would graduate. Well, he'd still be in elementary, right? No, it's
6 is middle.
technically, yeah, it's 6 is like a middle school. So you only get, 30 minutes tops really on a subject by the time the teacher gives the lesson. And then you got, turning pages and kids asking questions and stuff like that. You're really only getting about 30 to 45 minutes of hands-on with the material. And they get all of that and then some most days of the week. So that doesn't concern me as much as it does for, I think, as you said, just about Halloween stuff, awareness, conviction. I think it's just good to have awareness and to keep talking about it and being like, yeah, actually, no, I am starting to feel like it is, we need to get back on track or this or that and just keep that conversation open.
I guess also too, the one thing that, does make me feel okay about the entire situation is that when we talk to our association lady who we go through for homeschooling, she just said to focus on reading and math this year. And that's really what we have been doing. But again, I just feel like, I don't know, maybe this is why homeschool kids are so smart because their parents always doubt themselves and then really push on
That's funny.
other projects and other subjects. I don't know.
Yeah. I've never met a homeschool kid that isn't well spoken. And sometimes, maybe a little awkward. I remember one guy in my military unit some years back was definitely awkward to the fault of his intelligence. Like he could just have an in-depth conversation about many things that made it a bit weird or awkward.
I feel
but
like
he was super cool.
When we first started talking about homeschooling, that was what our family was all like, what they were all saying, like, oh my gosh, your kids, I hope they don't get socially awkward.
Yeah.
So what are we doing to keep them from being socially awkward? First off, if you talk to any adult that's around our kids are always asking questions. They're not afraid of adults. They are, I think, well spoken and
polite.
Yeah.
Which is always so weird too, because I feel like I was always the same around my parents. It was always yes, please, thank you. And when I would go to my grandparents or friend's house, but our kids, they can be little butt heads at home, and then they go to a friend's house or somewhere, and they're like, "Oh, your kids are so polite." Like, oh, well, I'm glad they at least know how to act in public.
Yeah.
And then with church, we're at church not only on Sunday, but Sunday night, Wednesdays, and they get tons of interaction there with not only adults, but kids their age as well. And
then we also do the homeschool huddle in our community, so on Friday, all the homeschool kids get together. And there's actually quite a few. There's probably around 20 kids.
20 to 25, yeah.
Yeah.
They're somewhat older.
And they all get together for the first hour and they just play in a big gym, playing volleyball, basketball, whatever. And then the second part of it, they all get together and do a Bible study. And it's just so good. There's such great questions. And the ages range from Palmer's age, which is 4, and I've seen them all the way up to 18, 19.
Yeah, that's always great too. So
and they're all together. It's not like they split them up. Like they have the ages all together. So they're all learning from different ages.
I think the best way I have ever seen it put was somewhat recently on a post is a homeschool mom was asked, how do you socialize your kids? And the reply is the same way you socialize your kids in the summer. No one says, oh my gosh, school's out. 3 months of no socialization. What must we do?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you do things with your kids.
If you also think for a second about how kids are basically told to socialize in the school system, told to be quiet majority of the day, except at recess.
Yeah. And if you do talk like our kids, you get your recess taken away.
Yeah. And so I just feel like when you look at it from that point of view, our kids are able to open their mouths any time of day and talk to anyone. And they probably just get more socialized than those that are at school.
Even just that freedom to allow their brains to run away and think about things that other times they would have to. And there's definitely a good benefit to discipline and having to be focused on a certain topic or subject. But there's also a great benefit to unstructured freedom as well.
One thing we've had to also, just real quick with homeschooling as well, is, and this is just something I've also read in a lot of mom groups with homeschooling, is that you should take the first month or two to let your kids decompress from the school system, because ultimately you're not homeschooling to follow the school system. You can do at this point whatever you want, however you want to teach your kids, as long as you're sticking with the specific subjects. Majority of parents went to public school. And so not only are you trying to deschool your own children and, the structure that they had there, but then you yourself as a parent are trying to think, okay, we're not trying to go by the public school system. And so anyways, the conversations I've seen in those mom groups are take a couple months off and just truly decide how you as a parent want to run your own system,
Hmm.
not going off of how the schools do it, not disciplining how the schools do it, not teaching how the schools do it. And that's really hard to do.
And to that point, I think it gets lost in like one day we went to Costco and Cam and Sully had to take a piece of paper each and add up the item cost. And then whoever got the closest, what did they get? Did we get
Yeah,
them a
so we
money?
had our grocery list, and then as we were putting things into our cart, we gave them the prices for every single item, and they had to tell us what the total was going to be before we checked out. Who
Yeah,
ended up winning?
I think Sully did. Yeah.
And like they were so close. It was by a couple cents. I
Yeah.
think Cam had 10, he was like 10 cents off,
They
and
had
Sully
to
was
be
like 2 or
within,
3.
I think they had to be within like $2, we said.
Yeah.
And Cam
I
was,
don't remember what reward we gave them,
I
but it
don't
was
remember
just
either.
such a fun.
But so there's things like that that you can do, or even just outside, literally using a shovel in the garden and learning about why you're amending the soil and what that does. And just the little things that you can teach just by being a parent, just by observing the world, just by letting your own curiosity and your child's curiosity go. And then like, I don't know, let's learn about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to incorporate school subjects into everyday living. Like even our friend Julie, who's homeschooling her son, they just put up some fence posts. And so her son, I think it was today or yesterday, was learning how to put the cement down and then having to measure the boards and put the boards in, stuff like all of that still counts towards math and science and just world experience. And then he's taking what he learned today, and he's able to apply that to his life down the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's just stuff that you'd otherwise be stuck in a desk. And not to say it wouldn't be useful what you're learning, but just different, approaching it differently. That's all.
So then going into December was Sully's birthday. And typically for birthdays, we don't throw birthday parties. I have been one in the past that when I throw a party, I want to go all out when it comes to decor and food and making sure there's a lot of people there so I can host them and everyone has a great time. And when I tell you the amount of money that I've put into birthday parties in the past, I mean, it was just outrageous. And so there came a time when Jake and I both sat down and we were like, what are we doing like with these birthday parties? Like, this is crazy when we could spend that same amount of money or less and go on a trip with our entire family and have such great experiences. And it lasts longer than 2 hours. We're there for 3-4 days and it's just a great time. That is what we've done for the past couple of years with all of our kids. Having 4 kids is a lot because it is, I mean, we
Well,
don't
with the older ones.
Yes, we don't really start it until what? They're 7.
Yeah, about 6, 7. Yeah.
Yeah. The 6-7 trend has been thriving in the Whitman household lately. So anyways, yeah, I think Phoenix she just turned 6 and we didn't do one last year. So up until 6, like 1 to 6, we really just spend time with them. We'll take them shopping. We'll take them out to eat, like whatever they want to do on their birthdays that day, we will go and do. I think when in birthdays prior, like Sully, one day we pulled him out of school and we just spent the whole day with him. Again, we weren't doing birthday parties at this point. So Phoenix is turning 7 this year. So she will have her first trip. So we'll have 3 kids taking birthday trips. And then Palmer will just have to wait a couple more years. But anyway, so Sully's birthday is in December. And I was planning on going to see my grandparents back in October for my birthday. And life was happening. Things were coming up. But somehow was able to last minute make a trip to Florida in early December. I think we left on the 4th or 6th or something. I can't remember. I think it was like the 6th through the 10th. And then come home and we really wanted to do a Grinch party this year. Well, the date ended up falling on Sully's birthday. So the Grinch party kind of turned into a birthday party, but it was just a great time. They had a few friends over and we watched the Grinch movie. But like I said, typically we don't do birthday parties.
Yeah. Still a great time, but grateful for all of our friends and just even coming to hang out with us. A good reminder of why we do trips, because it's just so much work to do a party, to do birthday parties.
And it was so much more memorable. Sully and I, we went, like I said, well, I was going to go to Florida by myself. And then I was like, well, this could be Sully's trip. And so I asked him, he's the biggest fisherman in our family. And so I asked him if he wanted to go to Florida with me. And without a doubt, like I thought he would have honestly said no, just because the ride down there, it's 7 hours, but he jumped on it and he was so excited. I think for like 2 nights prior to us leaving, he just he was so excited. He was packing all his things, couldn't stop talking about it. He at one point said he couldn't even sleep because he was so excited. It was just a great time for him and I to bond and spend time together. So yeah, we went down to Florida, stayed there for a few days with my grandparents, got to see my mom, and then we got back, had the Grinch party, and then I think we had like a week left and we left for Wisconsin.
Yeah, not even like 5 days. I think we left on the 18th,
Yep.
I believe. And then took the long trip home, like 8 to 9 hours. The first day getting to our friend's house outside of Columbus, Ohio.
Mhm.
And then 9 hours, 9.5 actually, getting from Columbus, Ohio to Wisconsin. And that's just on the road time. That's not bathroom breaks and snack breaks and all that stuff. But actually, it did go really well. I think having kids be a little bit older was really helpful. And they took lots of naps and got more screen time than usual.
Yeah.
So that was really helpful.
That was one thing we did, though. We withheld all screens until the trip. Typically, we'll give our kids, some screen time throughout the week, but leading up to this trip, I wanted them to be able to like fully enjoy it, and so we withheld screens for a couple weeks. But they did so good. I remember, I think it was the last trip before this one that I remember like telling you on the way home, I'm like, we are never doing this trip ever again. We were going through the mountains and I just remember how miserable I was because the kids were crying or they were whining and it just wasn't a pleasant drive. But this time our kids were angels, truly.
Mm-hmm. They were great. Yeah, we couldn't have asked them to be much better. I think really the only time was, are we there yet? Was like Palmer 30 minutes.
It was 30 minutes into our drive. And I was like, boy, you are not starting this right now.
But no, they were really great. I think the way home, granted, we did get sick while we were in Wisconsin. On the way back, Britt, Phoenix, and Sully were still kind of under the weather. And Sully slept 80 to 90% of the way back. He slept almost the whole way back home.
Yeah. On the way there, Cam and I watched a movie together. Like I said, the kids all took turns having iPad time and then really just slept majority of the way. I don't think there was any fighting.
Mm-mm.
The kids weren't bickering at all. Like they were so good.
Yeah.
Surprisingly so good. Like
we couldn't have asked for
a better trip there and back. And like they all knew, like we knew they were miserable. We tried to make it fun with, getting snacks on the way down and on the way back that they typically wouldn't get. But truly, I mean, it made me want to be like, okay, we can go back and do this again because you guys were so good. And it was, for record, the trip from South Carolina to Wisconsin is 18 hours. That's without stops. When you have a family of 6 in a car, you're stopping every 4 hours max. So, I mean, by the time we got there, it was easily 24 hours in a car with each other.
And then we had about 2 weeks with family. Christmas, of course. The boys, Cameron and Sully, and I got to go rabbit hunting with my brother and my nephew. That was a lot of fun. Cameron and Sully both were able to shoot a rabbit, which was their first time ever, and they were all excited, and I was excited for them. And then tubing and building snowmen and making a snow fort.
Yeah, and I think like, what was it, like a week after being there, we got like a foot of snow.
It was a bunch, yeah. Like 8 or 9 inches just
I think we got to my parents' house the first night at like 8 o'clock? Was it?
Around there, yep.
And it's pitch dark, and the kids maybe said hi to grandma and grandpa for a quick like 5-10 minutes, and then they rushed outside, and they were outside the rest of the evening until they went to bed, just playing in the snow.
And then we kind of wrapped things up. I was going to get us a trailer from U-Haul, and apparently when I looked into booking it, I made a mistake because it is like $18 a day to rent a trailer. That is if you return it to the location in which you rented it from. Apparently,
that was the whole point why we even brought the truck home in the first place, because it's very small for our family of 6. I would have rather taken the SUV where we all had more leg room and just a room to put things. So instead, we take this truck home. Oh, and we would have had better gas mileage is what I was going to say.
Oh, hardly.
So anyways, we end up having to take this truck home, eager to be able to have a trailer on it, because then we had so much stuff we had to bring back. We had my grandma's hutch. My grandparents passed away this last year. And so I got my grandma's hutch. Jake's dad ended up giving the kids this lawnmower without a deck so that they could just ride it around our property. I found a piano when we were home. And anyways, Jake's responsibility of finding a U-Haul was a flop.
We did not get the trailer. And then it was like, well, we'll just buy one. But apparently Wisconsin has a monopoly on
No,
trailers or
Wisconsinites like to just
something.
upcharge on their trailers because
Yeah.
it was ridiculous.
I was looking, when I first started looking on Marketplace, I was like, oh, sweet, $400 to buy a trailer. Great. That's not bad at all. And then I see that I'm in our area of South Carolina, and I
Your
changed it to
location?
Wisconsin, and
Yeah.
I am all of a sudden seeing these same type of trailers for $700, $1,100 for these trailers. I'm like, this one, I don't even know if
This one's rusted.
it would make it down
This
the
one
road.
needs new wood on it. This
Yeah.
one needs new tires.
Lights
but I'm going
don't
to charge
work.
$2,000 for it.
Yeah, so all sorts of crazy stuff. I'm like, okay, so that's out of the question. And ended up that it did work out that we brought the truck with, because we were able to fit the piano, the hutch, the kids' gifts, and we put all of our clothes and everything in totes.
Mhm.
And so all of that fit in the back. We tarped over everything, and
We made
yeah,
it work.
it worked out. And
But we didn't get to bring back the lawnmower
thank
and the
God
boys.
it did not rain, because although it was tarped, I didn't tarp it that good. So
We
had
had the
it
best
rained,
weather. We had the best weather going to Wisconsin and the best weather coming back.
yeah, it was perfect. Yeah, you had to leave the lawnmower there. So either my dad will maybe have to bring it down, or we'll plan another trip. So came back, and now we've been back, what, a week?
A week.
Maybe about a
Yeah.
week. And the one thing that we didn't mention is we were going to stop at the Ark at or Ark Experience, Ark Adventure, Ark Encounter in Kentucky on the way back. Actually, just
And it's
outside of
right
Lexington.
on the way back.
You can, if you look, you can kind of see it. It's parked. It's built right on this mountain peak in
Is it
the
right
distance
outside
off the road of 75,
Lexington?
75 or 85. Yeah, right outside of Lexington. About what,
Yeah.
half hour, 20 minutes?
Yeah, it wasn't far at
So
all.
you can see it off in the distance, and
But it's huge.
neat. It's huge.
Yeah.
It looks really cool.
Yeah.
And so we
I've
didn't
seen
get to
all the
stop.
pictures and videos on social media. So we were going to stop on the way home. But truth be told, like, we spent so much money back at home with Christmas and everything. And then we also had a friend staying at our house sitting and watching our animals here, that we just felt like it was necessary to just get back.
Right. Yeah. In the future, we'll definitely go back and
Yeah.
check it out.
I feel like it'd be better too when Palmer's a little bit older, like Phoenix's age, where he can
Mhm.
hopefully remember the trip.
Yeah. And maybe, and Tennessee's awesome too. Or sorry, well, Kentucky.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, it was really pretty going through Kentucky.
it really was. Yeah. I enjoyed it. And then we did want to talk about the kids and their sickness, just our maybe non-conventional way of dealing.
When we got back from the vacation, I was still sick for a good 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
I had a cough and a major headache for 2 days straight. Sully still has a lingering cough. Phoenix wasn't feeling well when we got back. She had a fever while we were driving. And so one thing we just kind of wanted to mention, because
Traditionally, like most people like to treat fevers and treat coughs and treat colds and doctor this and doctor that.
Yeah. And we don't do that.
But
And even when I was home, there was, I think, someone in your family and in my family that are like, you want Tylenol? And like, they're just being, obviously just being sweet about it. And they don't know that we do things differently. But we don't suppress fevers. And even like cough medicine, we don't give that. We'll give you honey, but we're not, coughing is your body's way of getting rid of mucus in your throat. Like, it's getting rid of whatever junk is in your body. And we're not going to, suppress it with coughing medicine. That's not needed.
I think it was one of the last few times, and this has been years now, that we actually, our kids either had a pediatrician or an urgent care doctor or something like that who said that, cough medicine does not do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're just wasting your money. It's glorified sugar syrup.
Yeah.
There's nothing in it at all.
And same with fevers. Like, I know fevers can get to a point where they are dangerous and you should, be seen at some point. But for majority of fevers, they're like, a fever is literally fighting off your infections.
Well, and we think a fever is like anything above 98.6.
Yes.
It's not even considered a fever until
Yeah.
it's above 101.
Well, and I want to look this up too.
104 is kind of like that threshold of like where your body needs to get to be effective at fighting off. Because all it's doing is trying to raise your body temperature to kill off the disease in which it can no longer thrive.
So just even a quick Google search, it says a fever needs medical attention at 104. And so like even before that, again, your body is just fighting the sickness and doing what it's supposed to do to recover.
Yeah.
Of course, it's uncomfortable, but that's what rest is for. That's why you're supposed to sleep. That's why you're supposed to lay down. That's why you're supposed to rest, and push fluids and But to use actual medicine, that's just something we don't do or agree
What
with.
you call it, a wives' tale, or what it would be, just conventional knowledge that isn't accurate at
Well, and
deterring
even too,
sickness.
just like the amount of people I've seen have issues after taking Tylenol or ibuprofen, like just even seeing the long term effects of it. No, thank you.
Yeah, the one time I took a Tylenol PM,
Oh my
I had
gosh, you were miserable. This
the
was another time when we were in
worst
Wisconsin.
reaction to it. I had just like a minor cold or something and took a
It
Tylenol
might have even
PM
been
to
a
just,
headache because I feel like you and I, when it
yeah,
gets too bad, we will like take something,
yeah. May have been.
and
I
this is the
took a
point like when
Tylenol
we feel like
PM
we're
and
dying.
passed out and woke up with
I
you
woke
would
up. I
you,
woke up to his sweat. Our entire bed was soaked.
I had water. I remember like dripping. I was standing up, holding my arm, like my arms out, and I
Yeah,
was dripping from my
like you had just
fingertips.
gotten out of a shower.
It was bad, like
Yeah,
never sweating so bad, and I
yeah,
had no idea what was going on because I was
and
so
that was
woke up, and I sleep deep, and always have no problem falling asleep. I woke up completely confused why I was
yeah,
like drenched. Isn't even the word,
yeah.
just 1,000% saturated.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I've never taken any sort of Tylenol or anything like that since. I've never been a fan of any sort of medicine.
Yeah.
But
And we still do. I don't want parents to like hear this and be like, "Oh my gosh, like they
those
abuse their
poor
kids."
kids.
Yeah. Because they never give them anything for comfort. We still go the homeopathic ways. There are many like there's what is the OCC stuff? Oh, I can't even think of the name. Oscillium
Oscillococcinum.
or something.
They're all Boiron,
Yes.
Boiron
You can get them off
company.
Amazon. But they have tons for like common colds and fevers, like homeopathic ways of going about it where it's not going to mess with your body. It's just giving it extra vitamins or minerals or whatever it might need. And
Baths, rest, good food,
yes,
soup.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's the path we go. Again, we're just sharing our opinion, take it or leave it. But we just want to share with you guys what we do when our kids get sick or what we do when we get sick. So, anyways, other than that, we're all feeling so much better. Everyone's healthy. The sun is shining. That is another thing, too. I don't know how Wisconsinites live in Wisconsin. The entire time we were home, I maybe saw the sun peep through like for 2 minutes.
It
And
was
that's
very
probably why we all got
seldom.
sick. I was telling Julie today, she's one that we get our raw milk from here in South Carolina. I'm like, between not seeing the sun and not drinking raw milk, I know for a fact this is why we were ill in Wisconsin. I said I could not wait to get back and have some chocolate milk. And I swear I was good after having some sun and some raw milk in my system.
No sun, which I remember one of the last times right before we left. I moved away. It was just, we were talking going down, I think it's McMillan Road, and we were talking about how it's just gray for months.
It's not even an exaggeration. For anyone that's listening that's never lived in Wisconsin, we're not exaggerating when we say the sun or Wisconsin is gray
Yeah.
for months.
It's a beautiful state in the summer, and the snow has a certain allure to it when it's draping all the beautiful pine trees and it's on the roads, but it's that allure, that shine loses its magnificence really quickly, especially when when the sky is covered in clouds routinely day and night, and you just kind of get tired of that overcast. I mean, it's literally a medical term, seasonal affective disorder, SAD. That
That's what I literally just Googled is what is the record for seasonal depression in Wisconsin? 10% of residents experience symptoms
right.
between or peaking in January and February due to less sunlight. That's crazy. 10%.
Well, and you're
That's
indoors a lot
reported.
more too. You're indoors, so you're not getting fresh air.
Mhm.
You're not
Yeah.
being physically active as much. So there's just a perfect storm of
Yeah.
less than
And then you
ideal
had all the holidays
behaviors.
of junk food and just eating
Yeah.
what you probably shouldn't have.
That's what I love. And it was a few years ago too. I heard it like, oh, it's cold and flu season. It's not cold and flu season. It's you're stuck indoors. You're not getting sunlight. You're not being physically active. You're eating less than ideal food.
Mhm.
You're all these things. It's not, nothing changes. And no, you don't get sick from cold weather.
That was such a debate for so long, but I think our family finally caught on.
No, no, they still don't agree, but that's okay. That's okay. We don't have to agree. I'm still going to be out in shorts and flip-flops in the winter. We're back now again for about a week, and we come back to actually having lost 2 chickens. Not really
That
sure
was so weird.
from what. One was our little sweet Tiki,
Yeah.
a Polish, and the other one was a Bar Rock.
The guy that was
And
staying here house sitting thinks that Tiki was taken by a hawk. And then we just
just last night,
realized yesterday that we were missing one other one. It was one of our Barred Rock
yeah,
chickens.
assume some sort of bird. Haven't
Yeah.
seen any coyotes or anything
You saw
like
an
that
eagle
around
yesterday?
here, but I did see an eagle when I went outside who had an opossum in its
Mhm.
feet, in its talons,
That
and
was
flew
cool.
away with
That was
it.
so cool. I hope he comes back, truthfully. It's not for our chicken's sake, but
Yeah.
just for my own.
And our rooster is awesome, but he's useless. He is the most docile, pathetic rooster
He's
ever.
just here to breed the women.
Yeah.
That's it.
We just
He's
get,
just living his best life. But yesterday, or when we found out that Tiki had passed, our little Polish, Palmer was saying, like, this is why I hate having farm animals. And I'm like, listen, this was a conversation before we even went to Wisconsin. Jake was wanting to put up a fence so that way the chickens could just be in a fence and not roaming free like they do every single day of their lives. I said, but our chickens live their best life every single day. Our neighbors will come out and feed them, and they have 3 acres to roam and, the woods and stuff like that. And I just don't feel horrible if they pass away from
natural causes.
the circle of life.
Yeah.
Like, it's unfortunate and it sucks. And I hope that when and if they're taken, that it's pain-free. But I see so many people that have their chickens in a coop that get all these crazy diseases, and their chickens look sick and just sad and depressed. And our chickens are not like that. We get more eggs than we probably should, and they're friendly. And I don't know. I think the way we go about it is great. And if they get taken by a predator, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's not like
Well, and we're doing everything we can as far as free ranging too. Like we have our dog out majority of the day, which might deter predators. We're out there. There's still a bunch of places for our chickens to hide. Like we're still doing whatever we can, to make sure predators aren't happening. Or if we heard of predators in the area, we'd obviously be keeping a closer watch too. But you can only do so much. And like I said, at the end of the day, I know my chickens are happy, and that's all that matters.
And the rooster, to be fair to Duke, our rooster, he actually is a good lookout. So he does warn the girls. He just doesn't.
Yeah.
I've heard of other people. I've talked to other people who said that their roosters literally like snatched hawks out of the air and defended the hens. Our rooster is usually hiding in the woods before. He's like, girls, come on, run.
He's
run.
so good at finding them food, but if they get taken for food,
yeah, that's a good point.
He ain't there.
Yes, he lets them eat food and be food. But ultimately,
hopefully when he gets older and has his spurs, he'll be a lot better. Right now, they're like an inch long, so he's not really helpful anyways.
And then in the coming months, we are debating or trying to figure out what we're going to do for meat chickens, which is different. We don't want to go the kind of the traditional route. Is what Cornish hens.
Yeah.
Cornish hens. What
are they called? Cornish
cross.
Yeah. So the traditional way is getting Cornish cross
chickens,
and they just grow way too fast. I'm not a fan.
And they're very ugly. Like they grow so fast.
I don't care about that. I just
I'm
think
just saying their feathers even look.
Yeah, they're not cute at all if you go Google them. But I just think like, again, it's like the common sense thing of if it doesn't look right, it doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just don't do it.
They've been, I don't know about genetically modified, probably the case, but they've been bred very specifically just for the purpose of gaining lots of weight very fast.
Yeah.
In a way that would never happen naturally. So
isn't it 6 weeks?
I think Red Range. Yeah, it's like 6 to 8 weeks. They're ready to harvest. Which
that's so crazy to me.
Less than 2 months. The other, I think Red Ranger is one. I have a list of 2 or 3 other breeds that are about 12 weeks. So about 3 to 4 months, or 12 to 15 maybe. So a lot longer time commitment, a lot longer time to feed them. But
and another thing too, like I've seen when people do meat chickens is they're stationary to just one location where I would want to be able to pick it up and take it around our property. They're getting new, they're not stepping in their poop every single day. They're getting new grass, new bugs, exercise.
So debating on that. And then bees, we still have our just one hive right now, but want to get that to 3, possibly 4.
Yep.
But that takes a whole bunch of other planning and knowledge. That's the constant thing of not
Bees
only
are so fun though.
they're
Like I
fun.
was so skeptical. I did not want to do it at all. And now that we have them, I'm like, okay, I want more.
Because, but
They're
once
just
you
so
do
cool.
it, like with everything, like with bees or chickens or whatever, it's not only the money, it's not only the time, but it's the knowledge you need as well. So not only to go from 1 hive to 2 hives to 4 hives, you need a whole different knowledge base because there's more that goes into it about the timing and all these, just I could get into the details, but I don't need to.
We still do plan on having a
research.
podcast just on bees. I want to get Preston on here so bad, just to like share his knowledge and hopefully help anyone that is interested in jumping on that train.
Yeah.
But
And
we also really want sheep.
Yeah. And that's
More so
fencing,
I just want
which is
them
money.
just to look at. Jake wants them probably for
They're a very practical
meat
animal
and
for meat. And it's
milk.
about 6 months. They're ready to be slaughtered, to be harvested, or whatever the word you want to use to make
Sacrificed.
yourself feel good too. But so about 6 months. They're fully mature at a year, but really that 6 months to 12
I don't
months.
think I'll ever let you herd a lamb. I'm sorry. You'll have to get your lamb from somewhere else.
Lamb. And you also milk, and they're just a very practical animal as well. So sheep, and then we got to get a fence around our garden so we don't sacrifice half
Our
of our
chickens were in
produce
it
to the chickens
all year last year,
They
which is
love it.
fine. Again, like
Yeah,
at
it was
the end of
fine
the
our
day,
first year.
it didn't make us mad at all because
They
we
were
knew that
having
they were
fun.
healthy and happy.
Scratching in it, pooping in
But
it.
this year,
Yeah.
they are staying on out of my wildflowers and out of our garden.
Yeah, they've devastated that left side.
They hurt my wildflowers so bad. They would just go in and hide in there and lay on them, and they broke so many. And
Turn it in. They like it because our soil is really sandy, so they would just make the best dust baths out of the wildflower beds.
Not this year, but that's all right.
Yeah. And then we need, so like on the way home, we were talking about all these things, and we've mentioned
we need to stop talking.
the 10th or 12th thing. And Brit dreams in terms of like prettiness and beauty and what it looks like. And I dream in terms of cost, and all I just think is, there's $600. Oh, there's $2,000. Yeah, there's another $3,500. Oh, okay. Well, let's just stop talking right now because I know
it's really hard. It's really hard to like figure out where to put your money. And for me, I think of more so of like investments, and I know you do too, but like for me, I'm thinking, okay, if our garden looks really pretty, because I want to have a table running down our garden, for just a garden table to sit out and have dinners at, or if we're ever able to rent it to people to have really nice dinners and Jay cooking for them. Like I just think of all these like business plans. And then for our greenhouse, I wanted that to look so pretty. So that way, whether it's us filming our podcast out there or whatever it might be, it's all about just looking nice. And then same with like our fencing around the garden. Like I want it to have climbing roses all around it. Like I just have that vision of what I want it to look like. And Jake's like, all he's visioning is the money that's going to happen. So it's really hard, but we just got to take baby steps and, make a list of what's important first. But hopefully there's a lot of growth this year. I'm excited to see like what our house looks like at the end of 2026.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Even just like with our trees, we have, I don't know, 10 to 15 apple and peach trees.
Yeah, that'll be fun to see.
We did get a few peaches off our trees last year when my dad was actually down here.
They're only like 5 feet tall. They're not
5 to 10, varying, but not very tall. But the peaches were phenomenal. The apples none of them really turned out very well, but we'll be able to.
And then we put blueberry bushes down.
Oh yeah, a bunch of blueberry bushes.
When did we put those down?
At the end of the year. Yeah, probably October, November-ish.
I was mowing the lawn with Cameron, and I was like, in my head, I was like, okay, first off, it was getting dark. Okay, I probably shouldn't have been mowing at this time of day anymore. But I was like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm going to swerve through these blueberry bushes so that it looks really nice and it's all mowed and everything. And I remember swerving the first corner that I swerved and I just hear, "Grr," and Cam looks back at me and he's like, you just ran over a blueberry bush. And I was like, don't tell your dad. And Cam's like, give me $5. And unfortunately, Jake was outside and he heard it. And so he already knew. So we were down a blueberry bush. And then I think while I was in Florida, you went and picked up some more and got them
they were on
planted right
sale.
away.
Like we've not almost everything, whether it's in the house or outside. Some of the apple trees and peach trees we paid full price for, but everything we
Yeah.
bought on sale or off market. Like just we found a good deal
Well, and
on
too,
it.
if
All
you're
the
wanting to get started with fruit trees and stuff, like one thing that we did that I really liked and I would like to do this year too is anytime we went grocery shopping or went to the store and we saw them, we would just grab a couple. Like you don't have to grab all of them at the same time. We would just slowly add them. And so last year we had 16 trees we added and 9 blueberry bushes.
Yeah. And the blueberry bushes are usually $15 or $16 a piece. And we got them at the end of the season when they're maybe not ideal. They're starting to, but you just pick the best ones.
Yeah.
9 of them for half price $10 for those 9 versus the full price of 14 or 15, whatever it was.
And my thought process is you're going to spend, $20, $30 on random stuff throughout the week anyways. So might as well put it towards your house when we're out and about and we see those trees, grab 1 or 2, invest into your property. And we are able to build our little homestead of fruit.
Absolutely. There's so much good stuff on Marketplace even as well
that's true.
You can find, even just as we're talking now about building a storage shed for garden stuff and a lawnmower and a greenhouse off the side. That I was just looking at Marketplace today. I hadn't even showed you yet, but finding there's like a bunch of treated lumber on there at half price what you could ever find it for at Lowe's or Home Depot or any local lumber store. So a lot of times people they go out, they get a big pallet, or company is building something and they buy a pallet, and you can't just take back 10 boards. Super grateful for Marketplace. I think that's about it for upcoming plans. Like you said, I think the biggest challenge is trying to prioritize wants, not only wants versus needs, but how bad do I want this? How bad do I need this? Like the garden fence is a need, or we're just planting stuff for no reason, basically.
Well, and we just want to be good stewards of the land. Like I really want God to be proud of us for what we do with this property he's given us and for it to bless other people. I think you and I are both on the same page that if we see friends and neighbors that need food, or just even, it's just such a sweet gift to make homemade stuff. I feel like homemade stuff is making a comeback. And so last year you were giving away so much like homemade salsa, and I was able to give away some bouquets of flowers. Like it's stuff like that I think is just so meaningful. So I'm hoping as our land harvests more fruits and vegetables and wildflowers and whatever else we bring to the property, I hope that we can just continue to bless more people.
And it is fun, but it also takes patience, even just
and
now.
work.
A lot of work, but just the patience. Like our little pathetic blueberry bushes out there. We went and picked, our friends have some property north of us. And these blueberry bushes are 6-7 feet tall. They're
full,
huge. I mean, you could fill up an ice cream pail from one bush, and there's just
not even one bush, like maybe a quarter of the bush. Like there were so many.
And ours are
so pathetic.
Not even mid shin height, and has like
it'll
6
be like
twigs.
when we're in retirement and our kids get to bring their kids to enjoy our property. But
you can bring the grandkids over so they can pick some blueberries. But that was one of the best memories of my childhood, is going over to my grandma's house and eating her raspberries, picking them. So that will be they'll be bigger than that in the next few years, but certainly the longer they go. But that's why it's so rewarding also. Because you have to wait, and you have to plant it, and you have to plan and be patient and keep taking care of it, even while it's not giving you anything.
How do we just end that?
Just talking about the patience required, planting and waiting and taking care of it even while.
Yeah, we also are kind of custom building our kids' playground.
Yeah.
So there was a couple other things we wanted to add to that as well. We'll have to get pictures and like post about that, because I think our layout is so cool. And the other little ideas we have to grow the kids' playground and build a tree house and stuff like that. It's just going to be so neat.
Yeah.
And again, little steps. People are going to see the end and be like, oh, I wish I could afford all that and do that. And it's like, no, we've been like all of 2025, we built a tree house. The boys ripped it down. And now we have a couple swings. I think
Yeah.
4 swings, and that's it.
Well, and the
But
fact of
it's just doing a little bit here and there.
just over a year ago, we were living in a 600 square foot house by the beach. And it was 4 years in that, waiting for land and being patient.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's easy to
Yeah,
look
you were
at.
ready to move out like year 2.
Yeah.
And we were there for 4 years. And
Patient,
Yeah.
like annoyingly patient.
yeah.
I mean, if we, in it too, we've talked about, I could easily go find a job, probably, I don't know, making decent money.
Mm-hmm.
That's for, and it's not like we don't make decent money now. It's just, it's not guaranteed. Some months it's great. Some months it's pathetic.
Yeah.
And so I could go get a job making XYZ amount of dollars every month guaranteed. And we'd be able to, let me finish that thought. We'd be able to afford the things much quicker. But that also is not being at home at least 5 days a week for 8 to 9, depending on how long the commute is, maybe 10 hours a day.
Well, and we've already shared this story of how many hours you used to work and be away from the boys when I was raising them.
Yeah.
Practically by myself. Like you were gone from 5 until 5 in the evening and the boys were going to bed by 6.
I didn't even tell you this on the way home from our small group tonight. I told the boys that I had a 3-day drill this weekend because the government shut down. So it was going to be 3 days instead of 2. And they're like, oh, come on. How many more years do you have to do this? I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, like, this is hilarious. I'm going to be gone for not even 3 whole days. I'm going to be gone before they wake up and I'll be back before dinner time.
Yeah. We tell them all the time how they are so blessed to have parents that work from home because there are so many parents out there that, I mean, you did it. We've both done it.
But they're acting like it's, like I'm going to be gone.
Yeah.
Just like I'm leaving for a big business trip for weeks. It's literally not even 3 days. And they're like, how many more years of this? This is ridiculous.
But again, we're here because we simplified our lives so much. So if someone's listening is like, oh, I wish I could stay home. You don't realize the things we were okay letting go of.
And we're still climbing out of. We still have some debt that we don't want, that we're working towards paying off, that we don't need to get into all the details. We only had
one vehicle for 6 years.
Yeah.
Up until this last few months. And when we bought a second vehicle, it's not a brand new vehicle. It was $5,000. And it's not the prettiest thing. And it has dents and whatever, but it runs and it allows for us to have a second vehicle when needed. So again, we are okay with not having top-notch materialistic things so that Jake and I can be home and working towards our own personal goals and being home with our kids and homeschooling and being so present.
Yeah, absolutely. Because even I always think how grateful I am, because even though it's, there's benefits to the military duty, I get to go hang out with, other adults where, I think we need that at times and whatnot. But literally by the time I get to Columbia, about an hour and a half away from where we live, I'm like, okay, I miss my family. I'm ready to go back home. I've seen enough of these people. I'm ready to go back. Super grateful for that. I've always wanted that, to have a life that I didn't need to take vacations from.
Yeah.
And we have that, even when I know you to death.
Well, I'm glad you miss us while you're gone.
Yeah, definitely.
They miss your cooking. When you're gone. There's been plenty of weekends when Jake's away at military. I'm like, can you just cook us some meals before you leave? Because the kids complain about my cooking more times than not. It's always spaghetti or pizza or mac and cheese. Unfortunately, I'm just not a fan of cooking at all. So we are very grateful that Jake has taken that on. And I feel like down the road, Cam's just going to pick it up and you're going to have less days to cook because he truly enjoys it.
He does. And he's actually really good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised some of the stuff he's put together.
He loves trying just new things and he'll throw the most random stuff into a pot and then it somehow turns out good.
Yeah. You're just like, Cam, there's not a single person in the history of humanity who's put these 2 items together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but sure, dude, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go have at it, man. And you try it. And okay, it worked.
Yeah.
It's not garbage.
Yep.
It's actually quite good.
Yep. So other than that, just some future goals with the podcast is we'd really love to get some people on here. I know we talked about that last year and didn't really get around to it. We started this podcast, I think right when school started shortly, right?
I was going to say like
August,
July or
September.
something. Yeah,
It was
July,
right after
August.
school
That's
started.
right. So it'd be probably about August.
So we've only had, well, this will be our 7th episode out, but it is a goal for us this year, obviously, to be more present, hopefully be able to get on here more. The biggest struggle is that we're just not going to be able to create content for social media because it's dark out unless we get like an awesome light setup. This is just the way it's going to be for right now. But at least we're here.
Yeah.
Showing up. Would love to get more guests on here.
Keep sharing your feedback. Send us messages. As we shared in the beginning, where my best friend reaches out and says, hey, when you guys putting out another episode, I think it's always a good reminder that even though we think we're throwing spaghetti against the wall.
What?
That's what's the saying. Yeah,
Okay, you're not even allowed to make fun of me and my grandma talk anymore when you say stuff like that.
That's a saying.
Julie said something tonight too about
Julie has some
with
good ones.
wax or something. And I'm like, what did she just say?
When you throw spaghetti against the wall, if it doesn't stick, if it doesn't stick, it doesn't. So sometimes you feel like you're just, just throwing it up against the wall. And if it doesn't stick, you don't know what the outcome
6, 7.
But,
Just kidding.
but people are listening. People are paying attention, and it's a good reminder that
it's just nice. It's just nice to hear, especially when we do put in the time and effort and work into sitting down and creating these podcasts, and then in the hours it takes to edit and get them up. Like it feels great to hear that people enjoy them. So we'll be back with more. But thank you guys so much for joining us tonight, and we will chat with you soon.
All right, y'all. Bye.